Hello, I'm Philip Hinkle, and today I'm going to show you how to get started with Phantom, a great tool to identify and track moving objects and also protect privacy by identifying and obscuring faces, license plates, and other objects with a pixelated mask. The goal of proDAD Phantom and other tools in the suite are to optimize and enhance videos to help accurately interpret the scene. What are the primary functions of proDAD Phantom? 1. Identify and track moving objects, whether from ground or in the air. 2. Place identification marker on the subject being tracked. 3. Protect law enforcement personnel or witness by obscuring faces. 4. Protect the citizen's privacy by obscuring license plates, addresses, faces, etc. 5. Export the edited video to popular formats. 6. To comply with legal requirements to log access and edits to the video. Let's jump in and see how Phantom works. Okay, I have a clip here. It's a policeman walking up to a car and then a guy makes a run for it. So the part of the video I want to use, I'm going to start it right about here. And I'm going to set an endpoint of what I want to work with and scrub forward until that license plate leaves the scene right about there. That's all I need to work with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in with my little plus sign down here so I can see just the part of the timeline I'm working with. Now what I like to do is click somewhere in the middle of my scene because that license plate's going off the screen. I don't want to have to start with it off the screen, but it will automatically track it and take it off the screen for me. So what I need to do is find a mask for that license plate. Up here we can do a polygon, an ellipse, or a rectangle. For this one, the rectangle will work really well. Gonna click and drag with my mouse to pick a part that I want to make a mask out of. I can click the check to apply it, or I can click the X to cancel it and start over. I'm going to click apply, and now you see we've got a mask around it. If I come up here to view result, you can see it's already masked out. Now the beauty of Phantom is we can actually track that as the camera and the scene moves. It will stay on that license plate. To do that, I come down here and I click on my tracking button. Then there's options here. If I click on this button, it's going to track one frame at a time backwards. Okay? But if I click on this button, it's going to attempt to track that license plate until the endpoint on my clip where it starts. So if I click there, you can see it go to work. And just like that, it's done. Now if I come back here where we started our tracking, remember on the end of this clip that car moves and the camera moves as we follow the policeman running. And so we're going to see if this tracking will hold on to that license plate until it goes off the screen. So I could manually track again just by clicking on this button, or if I press the forward tracking until the end mark, which is right there. Let's see what happens. So far so good, but my car hasn't moved. Any second now the camera's going to move. There it goes. See, it's holding onto that license plate. It's following it even while it's moving. Alright, it reached the end and I now have tracking. Well, let's go up here and click on view result. If I scrub through this, you will see the mosaic stays right with that license plate the whole way through the car. Now just for fun, I don't like those big blocks. I want it to be a little smaller, so I come up here to my mosaic. My block size, you can define the horizontal and vertical size. They're tied to each other, so I just need to click one. And now you can see it's getting smaller units. If you were to go all the way down to 0, it would be completely turned off. That's very simple and quick how to mask a license plate. Okay, let's go to our next clip, which is down here in my storyboard. And this is a clip probably taken from a drone or a helicopter looking down on some freeway traffic in a traffic jam. So I've zoomed all the way out so I can see my entire clip. Now I'm going to pretend that the car that we want to track is this green car right here, just because it's easy to see. Let's assume there's someone who has broken the law and we need to track this guy because he's leading the police on a high-speed chase. So what I'm going to do is center in the middle of my timeline. I'm going to come up here on this one. I'm going to come up and pick the ellipse, but instead of masking that car, we're actually going to use these features to track the car in the scene. So if you were trying to show it as evidence, it would be easier for the viewer to keep track of where that car's at. So I pick the ellipse. I'm going to draw an oval. You can see right there around my car. and I'm going to center it a little better by just clicking and dragging, and I click check to apply, just like we did before. You can see the result there. We don't want that. We want to see the source. So I've turned on my view source. Now, just like we did before, I'm going to come down and track, and I can hit the backwards manual button. You can see that it's tracking. See all those little yellow dots? Those mean it's found something, and that's what it's locked onto. But I think this one will track really well all the way until it goes off the screen. So I'm going to click the back to the endpoint button, and what it's going to do is try and track all the way to the endpoint, but it lost its piece to track. See, it's off the screen now, so it automatically stopped because it can't find that green car we were working on. So this time I'm going to drag my cursor back up to where we were at, and you can see I still have my mask on there. Right? This time I'm going to click my tracking again, and let's see if it will follow it until that green car goes off the screen. I'm going to click the forward tracking to the end mark, and there it goes. Look at that. It's holding on to it the entire way. It just disappeared. My tracking stopped because it has nothing else to track. So if I were to follow this clip by dragging, you can see it's holding that the whole way. The mask here is going to stay on screen even though there's nothing there because it's waiting on that car to appear. Now remember, we turn on the result. We don't want the mosaic, so I'm going to come up here and turn the mosaic completely off. So I'm just going to hold that down until it's 0, or I could highlight it and just press 0 on my keyboard, and now it's completely off, but I'm still tracking. See, I've still got it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the contour option. I'm going to say I want to track it in red. That red looks pretty good. I want the thickness to be set at 3. Now I can track that car. See how that works? That is really cool the way that works. Now back here where it disappears off the screen, if I take and drag this piece right here, this is the layer that I'm working with. And then right here is where my tracking stops. So if I drag this piece up to here, I've now defined a work area. So now you can see that mask is not there. As soon as the car appears, it shows up on the screen, and off it goes. It did a perfect job of tracking that car all the way through. We've done all of our tracking. Now how do we get this out to a usable format? Now to export my videos, I just come to the export media, and you can see it says start export to files. If I want both files to be created into one long video that I can cut up elsewhere, or for whatever I'm working on, I can click combined and it will put them both into one long file. I don't want to in this case. What I've done is I have created a folder on my drive under my Phantom tutorial called fixed content. That is where these two files will be placed on export. So all I need to do is click the export button, and they will start the export process. Now if I go to the folder where I placed those clips, I will be able to see them. Fixed content, there they are. Let's look at the overhead shot, and there comes my car right there, tracking perfectly, just like we wanted. That's all for this tutorial. I hope I helped you learn a little bit and see how easy Phantom from proDAD is to use to track and mask evidence.